Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Garima Jain from Rajasthan Technical University. Today we are going to talk on module promotions, transfers, separation from the paper Human Resource Management. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the meaning of promotion, demotion, transfer and separations. Then know the advantages and disadvantages of promotion, demotion and transfer. Know the policy and basis of promotion. Understand the meaning of quits, layoffs, discharges, retirements, retrenchments, VRS and resignation. Now, internal mobility is the process of movement of employees which takes place between the jobs in sections, departments, or divisions of the organization. Internal mobility is necessary to match the employee's skill and requirements with the requirements of the job and those of the organization continuously. We shall study about the objectives of internal mobility. First is to improve organizational effectiveness, to eliminate structural defects and unwanted positions, to improve employee effectiveness by putting his knowledge, skills, and abilities to better use, to adjust to changing business operations, to ensure discipline, to correct wrong placements and job assignments. Promotion. Promotion is an upward movement of employee in the organization to another job higher in organization's hierarchy. In the new job, the employee finds a change in salary, status, responsibility, and grade of job or designation. When promotion does not result in change in pay, it is called dry promotion. Now, promotion is a double edged weapon. If handled carefully, it contributes to employee satisfaction and motivation. But if mishandled, it leads to discontentment and frustration on the employees. It is the responsibility of the HR manager to lay down a sound promotional policy and ensure its implementation. Now we will study the policy of promotion. The human resource management must make it clear whether to fill up higher positions by internal promotions or recruit people from outside. Generally speaking, top positions in an organization are filled through external recruitment. The lower positions are filled by promotions from within. One most important point regarding the policy of promotion is whether to promote employees against vacancies or non-vacancies. In many organizations, promotions are done on a non-vacancy basis after the employees complete a minimum period of service. Such promotions are time-bound and not based on vacancies or merit. The other practice is to link promotions to vacancies. Sometimes these vacancies are created to avoid frustration among the aspirants for promotion. A promotion should be preceded by a job analysis and performance appraisal. A job analysis is important to know what the job demands from the employee, and performance appraisal will enable the management to know whether the employee in question can match the requirements of the job. The basis of promotion. Organizations adopt different bases of promotion depending upon their nature, size, managerial policy, etc. The well-established bases of promotion are seniority and merit. The seniority-based promotion. If seniority is the basis for promotion, an employee with the longest period of service will get promoted, irrespective of whether he is competent or not. Merit-based promotion. It occurs when an employee is promoted because of superior performance in the current job. The advantages of seniority-based promotion. It is easy to administer. It is easy to measure the length of service and judge the seniority. With the base of seniority, there is no scope for favoritism, discrimination, and subjective judgment. By seniority, everyone is sure of getting promotion one day. Subordinates are more willing to work under an older boss who has given many years of service to the company. Now we will study about the disadvantages of seniority based promotion. The learning capabilities of senior employees may diminish as they get older. Judging the seniority is highly difficult as the problems like job seniority, company seniority, regional seniority, service in different organizations, trainee experience, research experience, etc. will crop up. It demotivates the younger and more competent employees and it results in more employee turnover. The organization is deprived of external talent, which is very necessary due to technological advancements and multicultural organization. Merit or competence based promotion. This we will do in detail. Merit based promotion occur when an employee is promoted because of superior performance in the current job. Merit means an individual's knowledge, skills, abilities as measured from his educational qualifications, experience, training, and past employment record. We shall now study the advantages of merit or competence based promotion. Promotion by merit is a reward to encourage those employees who make a successful effort to increase their knowledge or skill and who maintain a high level of productivity. It helps the employer to focus on talented employees, recognize their talent, and reward their contributions. In this, efficiency is encouraged, recognized, and rewarded. Competent people are retained as better prospects are open to them. It inspires other employees to improve their standards of performance through active participation in all activities and putting in more efforts. Disadvantages of the merit or competence based promotion. It is not easy to measure merit. Personal prejudices, biases, and union pressures may come in the way of promoting the best performer. When young employees get ahead of senior employees in the organization, this creates frustration among senior employees. They feel insecure and may also quit the organization. Advantages of promotion plan. It provides an opportunity to the present employees to move into jobs that provide greater personal satisfaction and prestige. It offers them the opportunities to management to provide recognition and incentives to the better employees to correct initial mistakes in appointments and to freeze inefficient personnel. It generates within an organization beneficial pressures on work performance and desired behavior of all its members. It serves as an orderly, logical, and prompt source of recruitment for management to fill vacancies as they arise. Promotion fulfills the long cherished desires in the lives of the employees. Disadvantages of the promotion plan. Promotion promotes inbreeding, in which the company will not have new blood and new thinking. Old habits and ideas are perpetuated. The system becomes stagnant, repetitious, and very conventional. The newer employees are introduced at places where they are having little influence. Till now, we have studied what is promotion, what is promotion plan, what are the advantages, disadvantages of competence and merit based plans. But now we will study what is demotion. Demotion is the reverse of promotion. It is the downward movement of an employee in hierarchy with lower status, salary, and decreased responsibilities. It is the opposite of promotion. It is generally used as a punitive measure for incompetence or a preliminary step to dismissal. The causes for demotion. The employee may be unable to meet the challenges posed by a new job. He may have low administrative skills. Due to poor business conditions and continuous losses, a firm may decide to lay off some and to downgrade others. It is sometimes used as a disciplinary tool against offending employees. Now we shall discuss about as to what transfer is. A transfer, it implies a lateral movement of an employee in the hierarchy of positions with the same pay and status. Transfers may be either company initiated or employee initiated. In fact, a transfer is a change in job assignment. It may involve a promotion, demotion, or no change at all in status and responsibility. Transfers from one job to another may be either temporary or permanent. Temporary transfers may be due to temporary absenteeism, shifts in the workload, vacations. Whereas permanent transfers may be due to shifts in the workload or vacancies requiring the special skill of the transferred employee or due to the ill health of the employee. Transfer requests might come from the worker himself, from his supervisor, from the head of another department, or may be made necessary by changes in the volume of trading activities. When the transfer request comes from the employee himself, it is because he does not like the work or the place of work or the co-workers. Requests for transfers should be favorably considered, especially when it comes from an employee. An unsatisfied employee is more of a liability than an asset. It is true that no company can comply with all requests for transfers. Now we will study the types of transfers. First is production transfer, replacement transfer, versatility transfer, and remedial transfer. Now we shall study as to what are the benefits of transfers. Firstly, it is to improve employee skills. By transfers, there is a remedy faulty placement decisions. Then we can prepare the employee for challenging future. Then we can improve the employee satisfaction, and we can also improve the employee-employer relations. Now, after studying the benefits, we can see as to what are the problems with transfers. It is inconvenient to employees. Employees may or may not fit in the new location. Shifting or experienced hands may affect the productivity. Then discriminatory transfer may affect employee satisfaction. We have seen in the previous slides what are the types of transfers. Now we shall study one by one. The first is the production transfer. Transfers from jobs in which labor requirements are declining to jobs in which they are increasing through resignation or otherwise are called production transfer. This type of transfer is made to avoid layoff of efficient employees by providing them with alternative positions in the same organization. Replacement transfer. These are the transfers in which a long service employee is transferred to a similar job where he replaces or bumps an employee with shorter service. This type of transfer is made when all operations are declining, but management wants to retain the long service employee as long as possible. Now we shall study about versatility transfer. The versatility transfer, better called the rotation, is for the purpose of providing management with a more versatile group of employees. This type of transfer will increase the versatility of the employee by shifting him from one job to another. The employee gets an opportunity for varied job experience. This helps the employee through job enlargement. Remedial transfer. These transfers are made to remedy the situation. Remedial transfers provide management with a procedure whereby an unsatisfactory placement can be corrected. Initial placement might be faulty or the type of job might not suit his health. In such cases, the worker would benefit by transfer to a different kind of work. Now there is another topic that is called employee separation. We shall study about this. Employee separation occurs when employees cease to be a member of an organization. Agreement between employer and employee comes to an end. Employees decide to leave the organization or organization asks employees to leave. There are reasons for employee separation which can be voluntary or involuntary. In the former, that is voluntary, initiation for separation is taken by employee himself or herself. Where the employee initiates to separate an employee, it becomes the involuntary type of separation. Separations, they can be divided into two, voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary can be of two types, quits or retirements, and involuntary of four types, discharges, layoffs, retrenchment, and VRS. We will study about voluntary separations. First of all is the quits. An employee decides to quit when his or her level of dissatisfaction with the present job is high or a more alternative job is awaiting the individual. Organizations often encourage quits through cash incentives, popularly known as voluntary retirement scheme. These schemes are offered by the organizations when they are experiencing losses. The comparison of retirements and quits. Retirement occurs when employees reach the end of their careers. The age for an employee's superannuation differs. Retirement differs from quits. When the employee superannuates and leaves the organization, he or she carries several benefits with himself or herself. Such a privilege is denied to the employee who quits. Secondly, retirement occurs at the end of an employee's career, but the quit can take place at any time. Third, superannuation shall not leave any bad relationship behind the retiree, but a quit is likely to result in hurt feelings with the employer. Now we shall see about the involuntary separations. Employers resort to terminate employment contract with employees for at least three reasons. Organization is passing through lean period and is unable to maintain the existing labor. Initial faulty hiring resulting in mismatch between job and employee. And employee exhibits unusual behavior making the environment ineffective. The next involuntary separation, that is discharge or dismissal. A discharge takes place when the employer discovers that it is no more desirable to keep an employee any longer. A discharged individual is likely to badmouth about the company. Dismissal is the last step and may be resorted to when all the efforts in salvaging the employee have failed. Now, the reasons for dismissal of employee. There might be excessive absenteeism, serious misconduct, false statement of qualification at the time of employment, or theft of company property. Involuntary separation layoff. A layoff is a temporary separation of the employee at the instance of the employer. Section 2 KKK of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947 defines layoff as the failure, refusal, or inability of an employer to give employment to a worker whose name is present on the rolls but who has not been retrenched. A layoff may be for a definite period, on the expiry of which the employee will be recalled by the employer for the duty. As the employees are laid off by the employer, they have to be paid compensation for the period they are laid off. The compensation must be equal to half of the normal wages the employee would have earned if he or she would not have been laid off. Till now, we have studied about layoff and dismissal as an involuntary separation. Now we will study that what is retrenchment. Retrenchment, it refers to the termination of the employee because of the replacement of labor by machines or the closure of a department due to continuing lack of demand of the products manufactured in that particular department of the organization. If the plant is itself closed, then the management and the employees have to leave for good. Like layoff, retrenchment also entitles the employees to compensation. Now we will have a difference between layoff, dismissal, and retrenchment. In layoff, the employee continues to be in the employment of the organization and is sure to be recalled after the end of the period of layoff. An employee is dismissed due to his or her fault, and dismissal is usually done of one or two employees. Retrenchment is forced both on the employer and the employee, and it involves the termination of several employees. The voluntary retirement scheme. Beginning in the early 1980s, companies, both public and private sector, have been sending home surplus labor for good reasons, not by retrenchment, but by a novel scheme called Voluntary Retirement Scheme (VRS), also called the Golden Handshake Plan, and some compensation is paid to the leaving employees. VRS is thought to be painless and time-saving method of trimming the staff strength and getting rid of unproductive older workers. Many organizations like Hindustan Lever, Siemens, Tisco, they have successfully operated this scheme and achieved great success. Tisco had set aside rupees 100 crore for its VRS in 1997. The company had decided to cut off its employees from 68,000 to 55,000 in 5 years to improve efficiency and it received good response. Resignation. A resignation refers to the termination of employment at the instance of the employee. In that case, it is voluntary. But if forced by the employer for not putting his duty well or for some serious charge against him, then it becomes involuntary. An employee may resign when he or she gets a good job elsewhere or due to ill health or may resign due to some personal problems. Now we shall summarize as to what we have done in this module. Internal mobility is the process of movement of employees which takes place between the jobs in sections, departments or divisions of the organization. Internal mobility can take any one or more of the following forms like promotion, demotion and transfer. Transfers and promotions should be based on some principles. Movement of people causes attrition, which has become a major concern for an HR professional. In a tough competitive scenario, it is not easy to manage the separations. Separations means cessation of the service with the organization for one or the other reason. Quits, retirements, dismissal, layoff, retrenchment, resignations, and VRS are the various types of separations. Quits and retirements are at the instance of employee, whereas termination, layoffs, retrenchments, VRS are caused by the employers. Quits, as we have already seen, in this an employee decides to quit when his or her level of dissatisfaction with the present job is high or a more alternative job is awaiting the individual. Organizations often encourage quits through cash incentives, popularly known as Voluntary Retirement Scheme (VRS). These schemes are offered by the organizations when they are experiencing losses. They resort to cost saving and believe that the best way of cost saving is to cut the wages of the employees. As VRS are induced by the management, it comes under involuntary separation. Now, the retirements. Retirements occur when employees reach the end of their careers. The age for an employee's superannuation differs. Retirement differs from the quits. When the employee superannuates and leaves the organization, he or she carries several benefits with himself or herself. Such a privilege is denied to the employee who quits. Secondly, retirement occurs at the end of an employee's career, but the quit can take place at any time. Thirdly, superannuation shall not leave any bad relationship behind the retiree, but a quit is likely to result in hurt feelings with the employer. Then about discharge. A discharge takes place when the employer discovers that it is no more desirable to keep an employee any longer. Discharge, it is also called termination. It should be avoided as far as possible. Termination is expensive as the firm must seek replacement, hire and train the new hiree. A discharged individual is likely to badmouth about the company. Dismissal is the last step and may be resorted to when all the efforts in salvaging the employee have failed. The following reasons lead to the dismissal of an employee: excessive absenteeism, serious misconduct, false statement of qualification at the time of employment, and theft of company property. Now we shall discuss about what was layoff. A layoff, it is a temporary separation of the employee at the instance of the employer. In the Industrial Disputes Act 1947, the layoff was defined as the failure, refusal, or inability of an employer to give employment to a worker whose name is present on the rolls but who has not been retrenched. A layoff may be for a definite period, on the expiry of which the employee will be recalled by the employer for the duty. As the employees are laid off by the employer, they have to be paid compensation for the period they are laid off. Section 25 of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947 makes it compulsory for the employer to pay compensation for all the days of layoff. The compensation must be equal to half of the normal wages the employee would have earned if he or she would not have been laid off. A layoff may be for following reasons like shortage of coal, some resources, or accumulation of stocks or breakdown of machinery. Now we shall have a summary of retrenchment. Retrenchment refers to the termination of the employee because of the replacement of labor by machines or the closure of the department due to continuing lack of demand of the products manufactured in that particular department of the organization. If the plant is itself closed, then the management and the employees have to leave for good. Like layoff, retrenchment also entitles the employees to compensation, which in terms of Section 25F of the Industrial Disputes Act is equivalent to 15 days average pay for every completed year of continuous service. Retrenchment, however, differs from layoff in the sense that the layoff, the employee continues to be in the employment of the organization and is sure to be recalled after the end of period of layoff. Whereas in retrenchment, the employee's relation with the companies are detached immediately. Retrenchment also differs from dismissal. An employee is dismissed due to his or her own fault, and dismissal is usually done of one or two employees, whereas retrenchment is forced on the employer and the employee, and it involves the termination of several employees. Now in the last, that is VRS. Beginning in the early 1980s, companies, both public and private sector, have been sending home surplus labor for good reasons, not by retrenchment but by a scheme that is called voluntary retirement scheme, also known as golden handshake plan. Handsome compensation is paid to all these leaving employees. Now, voluntary retirement scheme is thought to be very painless and time-saving method of trimming the staff method and getting rid of unproductive older workers. Many organizations like Hindustan Lever, Siemens, Tisco have successfully operated this scheme and achieved great success. Okay, thank you.